Hello, everyone. A very good evening to all of you. International Council for Circular Economy welcomes you to the third episode of season 4 of our Circular Chat series. The Circular Chat is an initiative by ICCE to develop and promote the idea of a circular economy and its related topics. In this season, we are talking about ESG. In our previous episodes, we discussed standards and frameworks and the environmental factors. Today, we are going to talk about the social factors. My name is Surbhi, and I'm happy to host our guest speaker today, Mr. Sunny Revankar. Sunny is presently working as Senior Research Associate in Sustainalytics team of Morningstar. He works on the ESG impact rating and research data of companies around the world based on GRI and SFDR standards. He has also worked as an assistant manager in ESG risk assessments and insights. He completed his MBA in finance from Xavier's Institute of Management, Mumbai. Sunny had also been a civil engineer for 2 years. He's passionate about researching ESG, and he believes that financial disclosures are not enough to predict a company's future growth, but now it is the ESG disclosure that plays a key role. Hi, Sunny. A very warm welcome to the discussion today, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Surbi, for the wonderful introduction about me. Hello, everyone. So, starting with...
That's great.
Yeah.
So, we have a few questions for you waiting. So, we are actually going to start with it. Now, Sunny, as I already told that we'll be talking about social factors today of ESG. So, can you shed some light on the social aspects of ESG?
Yeah, sure. So, when we talk about the social aspect, I'll tell you there is a lot of matrix that comes under social issues itself, like about employee safety, what you are doing in terms of improving your employees' overall growth performance. Then not only your employees, also the stakeholders or the customers, what exact improvement in the product is happening so that it eventually helps in the final end user's life. Then again, what you are doing to the community around you. Like, for example, if it's a manufacturing company and they have planted a new plant in some area, then how is the plant actually going to help for the upliftment or overall development of the locality of those areas? And when we talk about social factor, it changes from industry to industry. If you're talking about an IT service company, then the data privacy becomes a very major aspect for that industry. We are talking about manufacturing company, then lost time injuries, fatalities of the particular plant becomes more important. So you can see when we talk about social issues, there is a wide range of areas. Then again, the gender equality. Gender equality also gets a very different weightage depending on the industry. It's not like we're expecting 50% gender ratio in all the industries. But yes, especially in IT companies, there is a strong expectation that the ratio is 50. Even in manufacturing industries or transportation industries, we do expect involvement of female in those industries to increase gradually. Then talking about the ethics, business ethics, how ethically the companies are doing their businesses, how fair they are in terms of disclosures about their product. Like if writing nature identical product isn't enough disclosure to be done, and it's not fair for the customer also. You have to be very transparent in terms of mentioning what your product contains, how it is produced. Just writing sustainable product, they have been, so a lot of greenwashing also happens, which we in our day-to-day life, when we do researches of these companies, we try to figure out if the company has given a relevant data or not. Yeah. Next question. Hello, Surbi, I'm audible. Okay, I'll elaborate more. So when we talk about social aspect only also, so we collect few very specific metrics based on the GRI and SFDR frameworks, where we check the lost time injury rates, how many fatalities have been there overall in a year, in a financial year. Then again, there are aspects like is the employee training happening every year? And there is a very dislink between the data given by the company and what is happening. Like company will mention they have 7 safety training programs in a year, and if you check their last year's lost time injury, it is around 0.9, and this year it has grown to 0.95. So we can see the overall training program didn't do significant well. So we also check for all these aspects when we talk about the overall social part of the ESG. And again, social, all three E, S, and G are interconnected, because all these social aspects are finally governed by the governance body, the key management persons. And again, some social aspects also interconnect with the environmental aspect, where we can do something for the local communities. If it's in manufacturing of food products, then definitely there is a aspect of farmers, so how we can improve the farmers life. And again, if let's say if it's in manufacturing of heavy vehicles or tractors, then is the company doing anything to help finance the tractor to that particular farmer or that lower middle class individual? Yeah. So I would like to go for the next question. Hello, Surbi, I'm audible. You're not. Okay. So I'll talk more in detail about the rating part when it comes to ESG rating and how the CSR activities usually work. So CSR, if we have seen that it was a precursor for ESG. Initially, companies were publishing their CSR reports where they were talking about their initiatives, their policies, their targets, what they are doing in terms of economics and environmental aspect. And pretty much CSR was seen also as a charitable fund, but that's not the whole picture. CSR was overall development of the overall field or the industry in the company is working in. And we have seen that CSR has slowly evolved into the whole ESG framework. And if we see in CSR, they only tell what is done, but ESG helps us identify the change or the betterment that has happened. So ESG gives us a tool to measure the changes or the development that has happened in the industry. So, and there are many major guidelines like GRI framework, SFDR, TCFD. We usually recommend GRI because GRI is widely accepted by 180 countries. So GRI is very commonly seen in financial reportings of all the major companies. Then there are very country specific or region specific standards also, like SFDR is more on the European side. Then in India also, talking about Indian companies, majority of the companies are presently sticking to the BRSR disclosures, the 9 principles that are there, in which again the human development, controlling your human resources, betterment of the product, and also life of your own employees. These all aspects are covered when it comes to India specific also. And BRSR is also very much helps in giving disclosures. Then I'll like to more highlight on how employees can also help in. Like there are aspects Surbi, you are in mute. I can't hear you.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes.
So, yeah. Yeah. So we were talking like what role actually employees play in enabling CSR actually.
Um, Actually, yes. So when we talk about employees, there has to be well awareness about the company's goal. Like if the company has a target to improve its carbon emissions, or let's say improve its employee fatality, then the employees can take special measures to avoid injuries. Can be very well aware about how things can be avoided and how overall production value can be increased. And also a conservation of energy becomes an important part. As an employee also, I have to be well aware that the energy is getting wasted, or let's say there is excess usage of energy as well. This happens usually. We
Hmm.
can avoid unnecessary international trips, where if the discussion can happen
Hmm.
online in today's time frame,
Hmm.
then we can
Right.
also avoid trips. This also helps. There have been
Hmm.
companies, we have seen this trend,
Hmm.
especially
Hmm.
maybe the reason could be COVID, but companies
Hmm.
have actually disclosed that we were able to reduce 39% of our scope 3 carbon emissions because of
Hmm.
our international trips being reduced. We were able to do more online calls, and helping save your carbon emissions, helping save your energy is again a good aspect. Then there are few companies who are giving solar power plant, like solar panels and all,
Hmm.
using, becoming
Right.
completely carbon neutral. This is again helping
Hmm.
the companies to look
Hmm.
good in terms of overall ESG performances. And I have to tell
Right.
you, on based on my personal industry experience, there are a lot
Hmm.
of companies who are starting with their ESG disclosures. There was very
Hmm.
recent company who specifically wanted to raise funds through sustainability route, because it is giving them special discounts on the interest rates through which they want to raise their bonds.
Right. Right. Definitely. So every all companies are looking forward to ESG these days, and definitely this part of profitability is also coming into picture where people can actually take out something from sustainability. Definitely. So how would you correlate ESG and CSR?
Okay, yeah. So talking about CSR, so CSR has been
Hmm.
there for a while now, and
Hmm.
what we see in CSR is the companies doing some community service work for the
Hmm.
underprivileged areas, or let's say for farmers, or for the overall development of their employees. CSR helps us know what the company has been doing, but ESG gives us a tool, a framework to measure the difference or to measure the improvement that has been done. As I initially said, I'll give this example again, where a company had its overall lost time injuries, like amount of injuries happened over a year,
Hmm.
um, divided by its total work hours. So let's say it
Hmm.
was 0.9 last year, and the company is disclosing that they did a lot of employee training, accidental
Hmm.
safety trainings, and we see this year their lost time injury has increased by 0.5. It has gone to 0.95. So we can't see how did the training help, or let's say
Hmm.
they helped farmers. So
Hmm.
farmers in farm, they help finance farmers by giving them tractors at a lesser interest rate, or helping them with
Hmm.
no cost EMI loans, so that they can use
Hmm.
those tractors and all. But when we see the
Right.
data, sometimes it matches, sometimes it doesn't. So I will
Hmm.
say CSR helps us know what the company is doing, and
Hmm.
ESG actually helps us analyze and scale, or let's say measure the difference or the impact that those CSR activities have created. But there are some good initiatives, like say the company's CSR fund is used for like heart surgeries, funding heart surgeries, or let's say it was used to plant trees. And there are companies, there is one Indian company itself, which went carbon neutral last year itself. And they have planted around 40 acres of trees over the 40 acres of land. So the amount of carbon they are generating is way more than what they were emitting. So they are actually carbon positive. And they have water harvesting systems in all their factories. So they usually don't need water for their product, but the water they need for their overall day-to-day operations for their plants is being fulfilled by the water that is conserved through that rain harvesting methods. So they have been doing really well. It's a very big company. It comes in top 10 companies in India. Then their Indian companies are doing really well thanks to the BRSR disclosure, which pressurized companies to go for the ESG route. And ESG rating itself has also grown up as a very second most important rating after the credit rating. And I have met experts who say that one day the ESG rating and credit rating might get amalgamated, because the research shows that companies who have really good ESG disclosures in terms of better health safety, their employee development, companies who are really working on reducing their carbon emissions, and the governance. Governance plays an important role, because if one individual controls the whole decision of the company, it is very risky. And if the decisions are taken after 2 to 3 meetings by the board with proper voting, it shows that the company will sustain really well in the long run, and it has an ability to take risk and to also bear risk. If there were many companies who crashed in COVID period, and there were many companies who were able to at least give positive profits, at least to sustain the impact. So yeah,
absolutely. Yeah,
so
right,
my
right.
conclusion again would be that ESG helps to see how good the CSR performance has been, because
Right. So it
CSR is very
actually,
wide.
yeah, CSR is very wide. So
Yeah.
ESG actually tells you exactly where you are heading. So in the
Yes.
long run, companies can see where actually they are heading towards and can always improve upon them. So
Yes.
you did talk about the correlation between ESG and CSR. So what major indices should corporates look at for improving their social performance? What are the major indices?
Okay. So first step, I think, is they should first stick to at least one standard disclosures, because company usually cannot just say that we are doing this. There is a proper process of showing how we are doing things. Even GRI gives a very clear set of framework how to disclose your activities and your data. And I'll say that if a company really wants to do good in terms of social factors, then they have to first realize that their employees and their company's customers, their overall stakeholders are very important for them for their future growth. Only then the company will genuinely be able to have proper training programs for their employees. Then they should go and take feedbacks about their product from the end user itself, to know that what improvement can be done. And if the company shows proper improvements, upliftment in their product, only then there will be proper engagement of the company and the customers, which will help them to grow a proper market for their product. And then again, the ethical aspect is very important. You have to be very transparent about your disclosures. You have to be very transparent about what you are using in your product and how it might affect the end user. And again, coming back to the disclosures, like you cannot just say that we have working on improving our gender equality. There has to be seen that the gender equality is gradually increasing by the year to certain percentage maybe, but there is a initiative that the company has taken. Then company should also disclose the policies that they have implemented in their day-to-day regulations activities. Because when an ESG rating company is rating you, there are more than 500 data points that they look into. They check if the company have targets, they check if the company have policies for achieving those targets. Then the third aspect is if to check how, at what rate the company has been improving, the delta, which we say, the change that is coming into the overall performances.
Right.
Yes.
Sure. So it was definitely an insightful comment from you. So now, any specific advice that you will have for the corporates to make a bigger impact through the efforts that they are already doing? See, there are lots of corporates those who are already into it and they are making efforts towards it. But any other specific advice to up the game?
Yeah. First, we have like people who are aware about the ESG wave that have started doing the disclosures, but there are few corporates who think that it is going to take time or it is not evolved yet. My advice to them is you have to start now so that you show your results, because implementing or changing your social aspect takes time. It can take time from 1 year to 3 years. So the change will not come drastically, and there has to be serious serious initiatives that should be taken. So my serious advice would be you should start very soon if you want to do really good in terms of overall ESG performance and your social aspect as well. And please stick to one or two major standards. Like if a key management personnel from India is listening, then he should go for GRI and BRSR disclosure, even if his company is not in top 1,000 companies, because the BRSR disclosure is soon going to be implemented on all the listed companies. So if they start now, so when an ESG rating is given to their companies, maybe say 1 year or 2 years down the line, they have to perform well, because having a bad ESG score is going to affect their overall company's image.
Absolutely. Yeah, Sunny. So definitely we understand this, and I hope many of the companies do understand the importance of ESG and they start right away. I mean, there should not be any waiting for tomorrow. Yeah. So everybody should start the work now. So thanks a lot, Sunny, for being here with us. We certainly had a great informative session with you today. And I would also like to thank everyone who was present today for this live session. And if you have any queries regarding this topic, do write to us on info@icce.com. And thank you, Sunny. Once again, I would like to thank all of you for joining us. We'll be back at the same time next week. And if you don't want to miss out on any updates for future conversations, do follow our social media pages and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you. Bye-bye. Have a great evening.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. We'll talk more in detail about the rating part when it comes to ESG rating and how the CSR active.
Yeah, Sunny. So we are done with this.